Do you find yourself just lying in bed watching random YouTube videos or seeing the same 10 status updates on social media for hours on end? Do you feel drained or defeated? You, my good sir, may be just as depressed as I am. Or if anything, you're just in a little funk. Hello, I'm Armando. I'm your friendly neighborhood Toastmaster, Dungeon Master, Kung Fu martial artist, and enthusiast of wrestling, video games, anime, Asian dramas, and other geeky stuff. And I welcome you to Gentlemen of Action, the channel that covers finance, business, self-improvement, and other topics on how to be a man that gets stuff done. And today I want to talk about the very important topics of depression, sadness, and how to get yourself out of a state of sadness that's called a funk. We have all felt or will eventually feel that heartbroken feeling from being rejected by someone, or not getting a job, failing an exam, losing a lot of money, or losing a family member. I myself recently had to euthanize my dog, Princess, who after 16 years of companionship unfortunately had to go. I fully understand that crappy feeling of hopelessness and failure that comes over all of us, especially when whatever that something is that comes over us is outside of our control. Full disclosure, I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a doctor. I'm just a random guy on the internet speaking from his own experiences. And I admit that depression was once my best friend and would make me waste my whole day. I mean, time would just fly by and I would get absolutely nothing done. At times, I would just want to end it all because it's just excruciating to feel this terrible. I would be a damn liar if I said that I never wanted to cause myself harm. And of course I have. And who hasn't? I mean, I'm sure that you have, and this is why you're here. And I just want you to know that it's very normal to think this way when you are sad, and that you will persevere in the end. So please, just don't give up hope just yet. Considering these COVID times and the pandemic, there has been an increasing number of mental health related issues among Americans. In late June of 2020, approximately 40% of U.S. adults reported struggling with mental health or substance abuse to the CDC. About 31% of U.S. adults reported anxiety or depression symptoms. 13% started or increased substance abuse. 26% reported trauma or stress-related disorder symptoms. And about 11% said that they seriously considered suicide. I know I may seem happy all the time, but just like everybody else, I get mad, angry, and depressed. And just like you, I'm not always 100% myself. But luckily, all levels of depression are treatable. And of course, if you feel that you're in need of real help, I implore you to seek the help that you need and to talk to somebody without any shame or stigma, because it's perfectly okay to talk about these things. You are a stronger person because you are choosing to improve yourself and that you're actively trying to do something to be happy. All this being said, if you feel like you're just in a small funk and just need some practical advice to get yourself out of your feelings of self-pity, I got you. And no, my advice is not just be happy or stay positive, because that advice gets old real quick and it's not an actual solution to say those things. So let's discuss my recommendations to overcome your sadness. Recommendation number 1, get physical. And I don't just mean in a giggity type of way. I mean go outside for a walk or a jog and pump yourself with those endorphins. I know whenever I felt sad in the past, I would get a lot of thinking done while on the elliptical or a treadmill at the gym. These days, I just practice Kung Fu and swing around my spear, which, by the way, here's a picture of myself with a spear. And if, while we're at it, why don't we just show pictures of all my other martial weapons? Because if you can't tell, I seriously love martial arts. Recommendation number 2 is to have a routine. Now, I know there's a bad reputation with routines because some people see routines as boring or depressing. But routines keep you busy and can prevent sadness from overtaking you because you got shit to do. And you have no time to be depressed. And I know that when I'm depressed, I tend to just lie around and do nothing. So routines keep me engaged. And speaking about weekly routines, I myself practice Kung Fu on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every other Saturday. I write and plan my content on Wednesday nights and on the weekends. I record my videos on weekends and upload videos every Thursday morning. Or at least I try to. I play D&D every Friday night. I budget and do my finances on Saturdays, and of course, I work my normal day job Monday through Friday. So as you can tell, ain't nobody got time to be sad. Recommendation number 3 is to set a goal to learn or improve yourself. Now, I'm referring specifically to small obtainable goals that could be accomplished within a month or two, such as establish an emergency fund of $500 or take a course in order to learn Photoshop. Having goals is a great way to provide you focus, a sense of accomplishment, and it's a positive way to use your energies. So it's very important to get out of your comfort zone in order to learn some new skills. And speaking of learning some new skills, I think it's time for a little shameless marketing. If you're looking to learn some new marketable skills, may I recommend Skillshare.com. Skillshare.com is an online learning community where instructors and creators, like myself, come together to teach others, just like you, through digestible, learn-at-your-own-pace courses. Please support me while learning something awesome by using my referral link below in order to get your free trial. And full disclosure, I have been a consumer of Skillshare.com for over 2 years, and I use it as an outlet to promote my courses and teach others public speaking. On another note, rather than having large goals, you can also have a series of one-shot goals, or goals that are easily doable within a single day or a week. For example, you can create a list of weekly goals that you like to do, such as cook a new recipe, ask a lady out, or finish all your chores or errands by Thursday, whatever you like. Just make sure that when you make this list of one-shot goals, that you challenge yourself to both improve and be better. Recommendation number 4 is to laugh, because laughing helps release all those feel-good chemicals into the body, which helps in promoting good mental health. Watch a comedy, read a comic, or call your friend that always has something outrageous to say, because just try to laugh a little, because we all really need a lot more laughter in this world. Speaking of laughing a little, let's talk about soup. Where do you buy soup in bulk? You buy it at the stock market. Okay, I get it. That was not exactly the best dad joke. So let's just continue on and talk about recommendation number 5. Read a book. And I will admit, I'm not the best at reading. And I do not read fiction all that often. Though when I do tend to read, I'll read books on self-improvement, business, history, and political commentary. And when I do read things for pleasure, I do tend to go to, let's say, source books for Dungeons & Dragons. This is Mordecai's Tome of Foes. Talks about monsters and all that good stuff. I also like to read a little manga, which this is a Gundam right here. Who doesn't like big giant robots? It's a 12-volume set. I'm going to order volume 12 eventually when the price goes down. And I also tend to read comics right here. I do like my DC superheroes. There's Superman. I got Batman and the Flash right over there. So eventually I'm going to read all this stuff. And when I try to be a more perfect human, I may crack open some of the religious texts, such as the Bible. Hopefully I'll read it more than twice a year. But as you can tell, I'm not exactly all that perfect. And I don't read all that much, which I really should. And on that note, I will make it a point to read a lot more this year, because it's just a lot better for my long-term mental health to read more. And the most important recommendation is recommendation number 6, which is surround yourself with positive people. In the words of Jim Rohn, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that is because those people will shape who you are and will determine what will dominate your attention. For example, when I was actively in Toastmasters, I was really focused on public speaking and teaching others. Currently, I'm very involved in Kung Fu, and I find that I'm a lot more focused on fitness and self-improvement, which has translated well into my content creation. The best practice with this recommendation is to remove as many negative people from your life as possible. It's time to acknowledge that some of your friends may unfortunately be losers. Now, of course, you're still going to love them because they are still your friends, even if you might consider them losers. But there's nothing wrong with trying to break out of that immediate circle of influence in order to find a different immediate circle of influence. Because there's nothing wrong with trying to focus on being great at whatever it is that you do. And also, it's important to try to avoid being that loser friend or that negative friend that others are trying to avoid. What you should try to do is try to be the badass friend that all people are happy to have around. Maybe by being badass and having success, people will be inspired by you and then work on themselves also, because there's nothing wrong with everyone trying to improve themselves. By the way, you may notice that many people of a certain class or a certain group will primarily associate with each other. For example, rich people have rich friends. Gamers have gamer friends. And blackjack dealers associate with other blackjack dealers. Is it because these people are closed-minded? Are they classist? Are they any of these things? Not quite. It's just that it's human nature that people tend to associate with those who have similar characteristics to themselves. So if you're a go-getter, you're probably going to try to find others who are just as ambitious as you. Because by finding others who are just as ambitious as you, this will make it easier for you to accomplish your goals. I hope that all these recommendations are practical enough for you to apply into your own life. And as a bonus, I would like to include what you should not do when you are depressed, at least in my opinion, which are to play video games, watch TV, go on social media, or drink. I found that whenever I felt overwhelmed in the past, I would just play video games for long periods of time in order to shut out the world and just be alone. And if you recall from my intro, you know that I love video games, as well as pro wrestling, anime, and Asian dramas. And even though I love these forms of entertainment, I found that I would only be happy for a short period of time. And in retrospect, I found that I was just avoiding my problems with these activities because they put me in my comfort zone, which protected me from my sadness. As an adult, I now learned that the best way to beat depression is to confront it head on, and not just brush it to the side hoping that it disappears one day, because unfortunately it doesn't just go away. Now, am I saying that you should not play video games, watch TV, go on social media, drink, or do other things that you probably shouldn't be doing? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these activities, if done in excess, do not help. If anything, they might just make it worse. Because remember, staying mentally healthy is your responsibility, much like how my mental health is my responsibility. Now, I also understand that you're here for a reason. Right now, you're probably not all that happy and maybe need a little bit of encouragement. And I'm going to say with a sincere heart, I really appreciate that you chose to watch me today because you're trying to do something about it. You know what that makes you? That makes you a kick-ass friend that I want around me, much like what I mentioned in the recommendations. And I know one day you're going to be kicking depression right in the face one day. And when you kick them in the face, you're going to be kicking them with gentleman style. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I provided you with some value today. And if there's a business or improvement topic that you would like to be mentioned or discussed, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Also, if you like what I do around here, give me a like and a subscribe and check out the description on more ways to support me and my crazy dreams. And until then, stay positive, gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next video.